Alright, so basically we're going to go over how to train for a marathon. This isn't something you can just roll out of bed and do. It requires months and months of dedicated and consistent training. Um, so, I mean, if you're going to go from the couch to a marathon, the first thing you're going to want to do is get used to running some easy mileage, which we're going to call the base period. So, what I like to do is I kind of group my training block into three separate phases. So there's the base period, um, the fundamental period, and then the sharpening. So during the base, you're just trying to get the miles. You're trying to get used to running. Um, you're basically just trying to get into shape. Usually after a layoff or a planned break, which is good to do too. So anyways, the base period is very important. You want to get some consistent running, at least 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, um, and get some miles under your belt. And you really want to start writing everything down. That's very important because how can you know where you want to get to if you don't know where you've been or where you are? Um, so start writing everything down. And really take this thing seriously because it's really hard to do. Um, a lot of people complete a marathon and they'll go from the start line to the finish line, but to actually do the marathon, to run the marathon, you need to start and run it without stopping. And that requires a lot of training. You have to actually, the race is so long that you have to actually get nutrition on the run because it's longer. It's too long to do without any nutrition. Your body starts needing more carbohydrates and stuff like that after about an hour of vigorous activity. Anything less than an hour, you can get away with just getting some water from the water stations. But with a marathon, you're gonna need to eat something. Usually they have goos and all that stuff along the course. Um, so back to training. Um, so you got your base, your fundamental, where you can start getting to more race-specific paces, repeats, intervals, maybe some hill training. Actually, hill training could be in the base period as well. And then the sharpening period, which is the period about a month before your race, you start really dialing in those workouts and kind of seeing where you're at, um, depending on your goals. So, anyways, first things first. In any running goal you have, you're gonna want to wear the right shoes, and it's worth spending the money on. Um, I usually go to a place called Sierra Running Company, um, and they have people there that are lifelong runners that can help you out with any type of shoe you want. They'll put you on a treadmill, they'll watch you walk, and get the right shoe for your particular foot strike. Um, so you want to get the right shoes. You want to have some comfortable gear, some good shorts. Don't be afraid to wear the short shorts. I see so many hobby joggers and wannabes out there trying to run in basketball shorts, and that's just, it doesn't make sense. And you'll learn as you become a runner that you want to go for comfort and functionality over trying to impress people. So yeah, so get some shoes, get the right gear, and start joining running groups and talk to people that know more than you. Gain knowledge from them. Ask questions, get involved. Um, that's the best way to do it. There's a lot of running groups here in Fresno that would welcome runners. They have training groups specifically for certain races, half marathons and marathons. Um, and then of course you want to start running every day and try to build your schedule to give yourself time. A lot of people kind of use the excuse, I don't have time. Well, you have to make time, especially for a marathon. I'm actually trying to train for a marathon right now, and it's pretty difficult because I'm only able to run 2 or 3 times a week due to injury. Not because I can't make time for it, because I can and I want to. But anyways, that's a whole nother story. So back to training for the marathon. What you want to do when it's all said and done is try to get in as much running um, at marathon pace or even a little faster. Um, for some of your tempo runs. Um, for example, the other day I just did a 7-mile run at marathon pace, minus 5 seconds. So I'm getting my body used to going for more than 45 minutes or so at a pretty tough pace. On race day, with the nerves, the adrenaline and all that stuff, cooler weather, people around you, it's gonna feel a lot easier, and you'll be able to go a few more miles than you think you would just based on the nerves, which is cool because there's no way you can actually simulate running a marathon in training. You just have to train for it, and then it has to come together on that day. A lot of things have to happen right for it to come together for you. Another thing you want to do is what I like to call is time on your feet. So for me, if I'm going for a 3-hour marathon, I want to have a couple runs in my build-up where I'm running a slow pace, but I'm still spending that 3 hours on my feet, which is important because you can practice your nutrition, your drinks, your aid stations, and you get to know your body of like, okay, I'm gonna need a gel or a goo, some carbohydrates at mile 8, mile 15, mile 20, and then you can simulate that in a few different runs that last about 3 hours. And then when it comes to race day, of course you're going to be going at a little faster pace, but you know that you've spent that amount of time on your feet and your body can handle it. So you want to practice that in your long runs. You don't want to introduce anything new on race day. It's got to be just like business as usual. You go out there, you have a job to do, you put in the work, and you're going to do it. It's like unlike any other sport out there. I mean, you can be competing on the same course, the same path as Olympians and world champions and national champions. You can line up right next to them. There's no other sport in the world that you can do that with, so that's part of the draw of a marathon. And there's many other reasons. It has a very like ancient ties to it in the actual city of Marathon. If you go back to the history books and look all that up, but it's become very popular recently, and it just seems to be growing. I never thought I would run one, but here I am training for one. So you can do it too. If I can do it, you can do it. So all in all, you just want to get running and you want to have your long runs. If you can only do a couple runs a week, I would say the most important ones to work on are your long runs, where you're building up the time on your feet gradually. You don't want to try to go out there on your first day and run a 20-mile run, but you're building up the time on your feet, and then you also want to get some tempo runs in where you're running a little faster than your marathon pace for a prolonged amount of time, just to get your body used to that kind of a stress. So if you have any other questions, feel free to comment below. I'm here for any type of running advice, marathon advice, training. I've coached at the high school level. I've been a runner my whole life, well, since high school. I'm friends with a lot of runners in the area, and I do the research, and I know a lot about running. So if you have any questions about running, feel free to contact me, and I'll be happy to answer any of the questions you have and help you out in your goals. Because you know what, we're all runners, so we're here to help each other. Till next time, see ya.